third round of the GMC Pro Grade Series, and the offshore warriors descend upon coastal Georgia, bringing their machines and attitudes.
We're building a new boat this year. It's going to be all black coming out. I think we're going to kick some butt this year.
I got some unfinished business in the class.
Now we're going to do it on the course. We're real men are men. So we'll talk to you after we win. Sorry, Gino, you're going down.
Welcome to Georgia's first city, Savannah, Georgia, a city that combines history with beauty and, today, fire on the water, high-speed offshore powerboat racing. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Crippen. Welcome to Savannah, Georgia, and along with me today to talk about this great event is none other than Martin Sanborn. And Martin, we look out, first of all, at a course that's open water. This is ocean.
Well, this is the open Atlantic. Anything can happen. It looks a little bit flat today, but everybody's got to be careful and set up for that rough water potential. You never know when you get out in the Atlantic what to expect.
Now, another thing that's a little bit unusual is that this course is actually some 15 miles downstream, if you will, from where we're putting the boats in. So that's going to add a lot of mileage to these boats.
Well, everybody has to have a specific weight when they come out, so they have to be very critical on what they do for their fuel setup. If they don't put enough fuel in the boat, they're not going to make it back. They're going to run out of gas somewhere on the race course. Or if they come out light because they didn't put enough fuel in, they're going to end up having raced for nothing.
All right, and before we go to the course and talk about that, let's talk about this great city that has everything from beauty to art to history and even ghosts. Spanish moss hangs eerily from the ancient oaks, a perfect setting for what residents arguably state as the most haunted city in America. So much, in fact, that a cottage industry is developed here, where dozens of guide services offer tours of the many haunted places of ghostly legend. Savannah's spirits can certainly attest to the city's rich history. From 1733, when General James Oglethorpe first arrived on the Savannah River, to today, Savannah has witnessed close to 300 years of growth and prosperity. But this weekend, parts of Savannah may have appeared as a ghost town, as thousands of spectators converged along River Street to watch the Fire on the Water River run.
This is a little bit different than a traditional kilo where you have all kinds of run-up. These guys had a very short run-up time, so it was all about acceleration, so you hit that starting of the mile at the top speed. And here was the winner in Factory 1, F-156, Team Velocity VR1 with Bob Spitelsky and Steve Kildall at 81.818 miles an hour. On to Factory 2, Harwich Concrete Block Pier 57 with Luke Dickey and Michael Stancombe. In this Factory 2 class, they knocked off a 91.154 miles an hour. In Super V Light Single, Vortech Extreme with Gary DeSoucies and Steve Miklos at 88.988 miles an hour. And then on to Super V, the fastest of the V-bottoms today, Miccosukee Indian Gaming with Brett Frischman and Todd Eason, the fastest V-bottom of the day at 107.486 miles an hour.
And that gave a good preview to the fans as to what they would see off Tybee Island starting the next day. There was plenty of action to be had. As the day wound down, the nightlife picked up as thousands strolled, danced, and partied their way down River Street in a 4th of July celebration that would culminate in one of the largest fireworks displays in the city's history.
That didn't work.
We'll head out to Tybee Island for offshore racing. Stay with us. Tybee Beach off of Savannah, Georgia, the Savannah Offshore Grand Prix, the third stop on the APBA Offshore 2003 GMC Pro Grade Series.
Let's take a look at the race course, all counterclockwise. They start off in a head sea, run along a trough, come back into a following sea for the long straightaway parallel to the beach. But the real story, the water is quite a bit rougher than they thought it was going to be. Looks like it's coming in from everywhere.
We're going to start out with the Factory One. Now, these boats are very evenly matched. They really depend on the skill of the driver and the throttleman.
As you can see by how close the points are right now, Winnebago Red Devil handily in first place, but right on their tail, Typhoon, followed by Screaming Eagle, WorldPlayerCasino.com, Offshore Addiction, H2O Motorsports, and Velocity VR1 to round out the top 7 in the Pro Series.
Martin, let's talk about the makeup of these boats.
Well, a Factory One is all single-engine V-bottoms up to 30 feet in length. There are several engine configurations allowed, either the HP 500 Mercury, the 500 EFI, the Mercury 525, or the new GM Vortech HP 38100 series. All of them running the Mercury Bravo-based outdrive.
Now, as they come down for the start, they're going to try to line those boats up as close as they can to a straight line off of the pace boat. The pace boat is the boat furthest from where you're sitting in your living rooms right now looking at it. You can see a yellow flag flying off of that pace boat. Now watch the boats as they come up and try to form that line. As soon as they're in a good enough line, the starter on the boat will replace the yellow flag with a green one.
Yes, sir. Green flag.
And they're off. Now, right off the bat, we have Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink, the yellow boat closest to you. There it is, the F-110. They have taken out into the lead, but Martin, that front is high, and they are bouncing on the back end of that boat. They're going to catch some air very shortly.
Look at the battle for second, third, and fourth right here with Screaming Eagle, WorldPlayerCasinos.com, and Offshore Addiction all running hard. Screaming Eagle making a move, pulling out right now into second place.
Alan Campbell really has that boat trimmed out. We'll see if he can hold on to it there, but the boat to watch right now is this one. The Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink boat, and they are doing a great job.
You know, those guys, they've got the always been a bridesmaid, never a bride scenario going on. They've been on the podium every race so far. They're dying for their first victory.
Now, right at this point, they're parallel to the beach. They're heading down toward turn number 1.
Now, turn number 1 is where they're going to transition from running in a trough, essentially, to running into a head sea. And here's your leader, F-110, Mark Kowalski and Gino Marone in Team Winnebago Red Devil High Energy Drink.
Now, as they come into that turn and hit that changing water, look what's happening. Those boats are really popping the air. They're getting high up, and this is where the throttleman gets a real test because they are bouncing out of the water. If those props break free of the water and have full power, they'll spin wildly out of control. He's got to pull those sticks back, get them back under control, and yet hit them hard when the boat bounces back into the water. That's how you keep speed, and these guys are doing it beautifully.
There's your leaders again, Mark Kowalski and Gino Marone. Look at the beautiful ride attitude they have on that boat. A little bit of positive trim in it.
Now let's go out on the course for the start of the performance class boats.
Now these are the closest thing you can get to run what you brung. Any kind of configuration, catamaran or V-bottom, it doesn't matter. Any engine configuration, any length, multiple engines, canopied, uncanopied. These are all bracketed based on speed. So you have a boat that runs in a specific speed range, we've got a class to put you in.
What about those speeds?
Well, the P1 boats run 110 miles an hour plus. P2 is up to 100 miles an hour. P4 is going to be in the 70 to 80 miles an hour. P5 is 50 to 60 miles an hour, and so on. And then, of course, we have the one design class, which all of these boats are identical. They're what we affectionately call the bat boats. They're all running a single engine with a dual prop drive. You can actually lease this boat, come out and run for the day. It's a great way to get out racing when everybody's equal. And here we have the start.
You can see the mixture that's on the water now. Now remember, we're still running the Factory One boats on the course. That means that eventually those boats are going to work themselves into some traffic. So we've got some good competition right off the bat in the P2 boats. We'll be back with a look at that Factory One action when we return to Savannah, Georgia, right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to Savannah, Georgia for this, the third stop on the 2003 GMC Pro Grade Championship Series, APBA Offshore Racing. This is Factory One, and this is your leader, Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink, Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski.
Looking back at the rest of the pack, here's your battle for third, fourth, and fifth place, but look at the gap that the second place boat, Team Typhoon, has put on. They are the ones challenging right now. Here they are. Beautiful black boat. He got the boat high up in the air, almost put the nose in the water. Beautiful, brand new boat. That is Typhoon. Randy Schluss and Glenn Murray, they are trying to chase down this boat right here, Red Devil Energy Drink, Winnebago. They have never had to run this hard, Dick. They are pushing really hard. That's why they are getting that boat a little looser than they care to do. They're used to being out in front, but this is the boat they're chasing today.
Well, and then add on top of that, it's a brand new boat, so they're still really getting the feel for that. The team has the feel, but the boat, that's a whole different story.
Well, there's also another configuration change in this boat. This boat is running a 525. It's one of the few boats in the field right now that is. Red Devil Energy Drink is also running the 525. That means a little, he did it again. Got the boat nose up, brought it in nose down. That is not a good configuration to be running that boat in.
Meanwhile, the leader, Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink, is getting a solid ride. That back end hardly has come out of the water at all, while second place has been jumping high. So the trims are set. That's really going to be a determining factor on these boats. There you're looking down into the cockpit of the leader. You can see the guys, Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski, very calm. They're collected. They're kind of going back and forth. Looks like a nice Sunday afternoon drive. What do you think?
Well, you know, these guys have always said that that's one of the key features of that boat. It runs so well in rough water, but these guys are tough in this black boat, F-129 Typhoon Racing. They are pushing hard. Look at how quick that boat made up the distance it lost, but every time it trips, it loses a little. There, he did it again. He's running a little bit too much positive trim. That is a very dangerous way to run that boat. Look at how well that activator's running, though, in that high energy drink. They are running so well. The boat's just running flat. He's carrying some positive trim in the boat, but he's not letting the nose come up as it flies.
Oh, my goodness gracious. These guys, they are really getting a ride in the F-129 Typhoon Racing. Glenn Murray and Randy Schluss, two guys out of New Jersey. And here is your third place boat. They are riding very steady, also trying to stay out of that wake action. That water gets a little bit wild back there, and they can really get that nose down, and they've got to be very careful if that nose gets caught in one of those wake waves.
Oh, look at that. He got up over the side of that wake, came down sideways, and spun the boat out. That is Propco.
And we hope they're all right. We'll check them out. Michael Milligan and Brian Canty. They appear to be all right. We'll go back to them in a moment. Meanwhile, we take a look at the leaders. There you see the Propco Marine boat, and they do look like they're all right. They're kind of looking around saying, whew, what was that? What happened there?
It really gets your attention. You hit very hard. That's the kind of stuff that breaks ribs. Fortunately, the boat looks like it's in good shape, so they're going to get themselves going as we make room for the Angel ship to come in and check them out.
Let's go to the GMC Pro Grade Minute.
Raceboat owner and throttleman Nigel Hook logs over 50,000 miles a year on his towing vehicle as he competes on both national and divisional APBA offshore events each year.
We used to have a big rig, like most of the other tractors out here, but this year we decided to try the GMC Sierra, and it's really worked out well. It's as powerful as these, pulls the boat just as well as the big tractors. It's a lot more economical. Amazingly, we get 12 miles to the gallon on this going across country, and it's just easy to get around on. You know, you can get around the pits real easy. It's more maneuverable. The weight of the boat behind there is about 10,000 pounds, plus the trailer is about 5,000 pounds. It's a very solid trailer. So we're towing at least 15,000 pounds, which is close to the maximum rate. You don't even know it's there. We run these engines, which are essentially the same as in our truck, and we're racing at full RPM, and the boat's flying through the water. And if it takes all of that, the abuse that we give it, this thing's gonna last a lifetime.
Back on the race course off Tybee Island in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, we have a battle for 5th and 6th place, and what a battle it is. Offshore Addiction, the dark boat nearest to you, and Team Velocity, the yellow boat VR1. But you know what, Martin? Team Velocity was the fastest boat in the time trials. They're just trying to hold on to their position at this point.
That just goes to show you that being the fastest boat on the speed trials doesn't necessarily make you the fastest around the race course. They're right now ahead of Offshore Addiction, but Offshore Addiction is pushing them hard. They got a perfect ride attitude on that boat. They are running very strong. They're trying to close that gap. You can see how they're keeping that boat flying very flat. There you go. They're closing the gap on them right now. Easily marching up on Velocity VR1.
And the Offshore Addiction boat is driven by Scott Begovich and Tom Chasley, and they have now taken a position momentarily, but they are still far to the outside, so you can bet Bob Spitalski and Steve Cadal in the yellow boat are going to try to hold that inside line, hold them off, because the inside boat has a lesser field of travel on the inside if they get the pin.
Probably not going to be much of an issue at this point, though. Look at how much of a gap they pulled out on as we go back to your leader, Team Winnebago Red Devil High Energy Drink, F110, Mark Kowalski and Gino Marone running very hard right there. And in the black boat you see right off to the left there is the second place boat, Team Typhoon Racing.
And we'll be back to more racing in Savannah, Georgia in a moment. Welcome back to Tybee Beach for the 2003 GMC Pro Grade Series Savannah Offshore Grand Prix. The fans are getting excited about the F1 leader. This is Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink, Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski, and they have had a nearly flawless race in some very rough water.
They have led flag to flag so far, but this boat is giving them headaches. Typhoon Racing, Glenn Murray and Randy Schluss, they are running this boat hard. Look at how much better that boat's running right now. A lot flatter. Looks like they've got a little bit of positive trim tab in the boat. You know, people say that trim tabs slow the boats down, but look at how much better it's running in the rough water. They are closing the gap right now on F110.
So that's your battle up in the front of the Factory 1 boats. The yellow boat in the lead right there. And you can see the black boat coming up on the outside as we go a little bit wider. He fell off the pace momentarily, but he has not taken his hand off the throttle. He is losing time when he stuffs the boat into the water, and now he's trying to make up for it. There's the Screaming Eagle, Alan Campbell. He's doing a great job, the F-183, holding it in for third place.
Look at the battle we have here between fourth and fifth place. There goes WorldPlayerCasinos.com, and here comes Team Flashwave, getting the boat a little bit loose in the air. Oh, almost puts the nose in again. Right here's where Propco spun it out.
They've got to really be paying attention to those waves as they are coming up. It's tough because they're not regular. It's kind of a mixed bag out there. Meanwhile, look at the flight that the F-129 has, and there you can see what Martin was talking about with those trims fixed on that boat. He's riding and coming back into the water a lot flatter than he was before.
Look at how much distance he's made up, Dick. He is now within a boat length of this boat, Red Devil Winnebago. These guys right now have been leading flag to flag, and they're looking right off of their corner, and they're seeing Typhoon closing the gap.
They keep checking back over their shoulder, and rightfully so. There you see the black boat off to the left of your screen as they are battling side by side. Now the advantage goes to the yellow boat on the inside on the turn, but the outside boat can keep his speed up a little bit higher. He has now got him. Let's see if he can hold on to that lead.
Whoa, what is he doing? He slammed the door on him. They weren't even all the way through the turn. Came right up in front of Red Devil Winnebago. Unbelievable. Almost got driven right up the back of his transom.
And I think we had a little New Jersey comment there.
There he gets really loose, flies the boat, and comes in nose first again.
They are trying to hold on, but boy, that boat, I'll tell you, is really riding light. There you see that mixed water as he goes into the turn there. They've really got to be careful with those rollers coming in.
These guys have got to be running like men possessed right now, trying to catch up to the new leader in Factory 1.
Well, as we look at the leader, Typhoon Racing, they've had a great race. Whoa!
Oh, he's slowing down.
There's a problem aboard that boat, and they're in sight of the start-finish line. The checkered flag is already waving out there, but here you see Team Winnebago, Red Devil Energy Drink, coming up on the outside. Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski. It looks like they got a little bit of power back into Typhoon Racing, but they're not going to have enough to catch the leader of the race now. There he comes home for the checkered flag. So congratulations to Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski aboard the Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink. And what a disappointment for Typhoon Racing as they sit back there and try to figure out the problem.
You know, so much for that idea of being the bridesmaid, never the bride. These guys, their first win together as a team, obviously happy with each other. There you go. This is as close as you can get to a hug with helmets on. And there's your winner, Team Winnebago Red Devil Energy Drink. First place, Typhoon, second place, and Screaming Eagle rounding out the top three.
They did a terrific job. Look, there's a little acknowledgement from Typhoon Racing to the winners.
Now let's take a look at the finishes in the Outlaw Performance classes. These guys had to run in the same rough water conditions. A lot of interesting racing going on out in Outlaw Performance.
Oh, there certainly was, and we understand there is some damage to some of the boats out there. We don't know how extensive it is, but as you look at this, these the Outlaw Performance class and also the One Designs. And boy, I'll tell you, those little One Design boats really took a beating out there today. It was rough. Let's go to Martin in the pits.
Mark Kowalski, Gino Marone, the battle of the day. Tell us what it was like out there.
Don't let anybody kid you. It was rough. It was a wild ride.
We started off and we just got a a little too cautious in Daytona. We finally went and talked to Mark and said, you know, we just need to run like we used to, on the edge, out of the seat. Next thing you know, Typhoon was on us for the last lap, and they crossed in front of us. We thought the bow hit them, and we had a choice to run up their back or us getting pitched, so we almost got pitched out of the boat. We got back on course, and we finished it up, so I don't know what happened with them or what their reasoning was, but as long as we came out, everybody's safe, we're happy with it.
You got to be proud of yourself coming in with a brand new boat coming out of the gate, getting second place. You know, what's better than that? We weren't expecting to win. If we did, it would have been a bonus. But to come in second place and run with those guys that are all dialed in like that, it just felt real good to be there.
And we'll be back with Super V action right after this.
I got a little something for Spiderman today.
We're back in Savannah, Georgia for the Savannah Offshore Grand Prix, stop number 3 of the 2003 GMC Pro Grade Championship Series, and we are turning our attention now to the Super V's.
These are the premier V-bottoms, the twin-engine V-bottoms, with the leader in points right now, Utz Castaway, but only 1 point behind them, Team Donzi, and then a little ways back from that, Spiderman with 163 points, rounding out your top 3. Super V's are V-bottom, twin-engine configuration, canopied boats up to 40 feet in length. These boats all have to weigh 8,000 pounds. They either have the Mercury 525 EFI package or the GM Vortech HP3 8100.
Well, we've got a good field of these boats. It's going to be quality racing from top to bottom, and it's a good field as far as size is concerned. Now, remember, the water is still very rough. Here they go. They are getting the green flag, and they are off and running. There's Utz Quality Foods, Castaway on the outside. That's the yellow-nosed boat, but in the lead, it's H&H Speed and Marine.
Todd Clinworth and Bob Bull pulling out to an early lead. Here we're on Utz Castaway. That's Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. Here we go on board. Here's the view from them inside that canopy as they make their way towards turn 1.
Boy, the water sure looks deceiving from that point of view, but there's Team Donzi, another boat you're going to have to watch out for.
Here we are looking at the view right down the grab rail on the Ettore boat as they make their way towards turn 1, currently running in 5th place. Team Donzi right now right alongside Pier 57 on the inside. You can see how rough the water looks to be right now. Utz Quality Foods currently running in 2nd. Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. Look at them all bunching up as they head towards turn 1. Team Donzi trying to work his way up in between Spiderman and Utz Quality Foods. I don't think they're going to give him room, Dick.
It doesn't look like it. He's going to have to be very careful. He's got a boat on the inside, a boat on the outside. He slowed it down just a little bit to give themselves room to get through that turn, but now he's going to accelerate back on again. And now Utz Quality Foods Castaway has another problem because, again, Donzi's coming up right on the outside.
There's Miccosukee Indian Gaming right there, has moved up into 2nd place. On board Miccosukee, listen to the engines and watch Todd pull his hands back and forth on those throttles.
Unbelievable, the amount of work that they have to do on that throttle to try to time these waves, and you can't really time them because they're all mixed up, coming in different directions. And there you can see the problem they have in that boat. Right behind them is Pier 57. Here is your leader, Tom Clinworth and Bob Bull. They are riding strong in the H&H Marine and Speed.
Miccosukee getting a little bit loose. Looks like they could use a little more positive trim as they're running about there. Oh, look at everybody dancing around turn 1 as they head out to sea. Now heading east. Miccosukee curving around the course there. They added a little bit more positive trim. Team Donzi obviously still pulling the inside line right now, trying to make up some distance, and he's come up alongside Miccosukee Indian Gaming.
We'll see if the red boat can possibly move up in there. He's gotten inside of the wake action, trying to find some smooth water, but he may be forced to come back through it again. Here's H&H Speed and Marine. They have had just a great race since they threw the green flag, and they're holding on to that lead.
That boat made a little bit of an engine change and a resetup and configuration here going into this race. So they're actually running essentially a new setup boat as we go back on board Miccosukee Indian Gaming. Look at Todd just pulling off and on the throttles. It's his job to keep that boat running level, keep it running together so that those engines are not free revving when it comes up out of the water. And here Donzi has moved up side by side with Miccosukee Indian Gaming.
Well, they battle it out. Let's pick up some Factory 2 action. We're coming down for the start. Again, a top-notch field.
Look at the spread of points between 1st and 3rd. Only 2 points separating the 1st place boat, and the tie for 2nd place between Snap-on Talking Tools and Harwich Concrete Block. Factory 2, open cockpit configuration, twin-engine V-bottom boats. All of these boats up to 39 feet in length on a sliding weight scale based on the length. They all run either the 500 carbureted motor, the 500 EFI, the Mercury 525, or the GM Vortech HP3.
And the pace boat is bringing them down. The yellow flag is up. We're watching now to see if they get the okay to start.
Yes, sir. Green flag, green flag.
Green, and there it is. We've got a start in the Factory 2s. Right off the bat, we've got a battle going on. There you see Snap-on Talking Tools. On the inside of them, we have the Harwich Concrete Boat, Pier 57, but it's the husband and wife team in the Snap-on Talking Tools, Brian and Wilma Ross, down from Ontario, Canada. They are doing a great job. That's the best we have seen them run. They ran the best we'd ever seen them run in the last race. Let's see how they can go as far as endurance on this one.
F222 running in second place right behind them. That is the other Donzi, Team Fisher, running in second place, catching up to them. There they come right there, making up a little ground, but they're going a little bit wide on that turn, Dick.
They certainly are. Bobby Fisher and Chris Katerna, they are trying to hold that boat in there, but they have gone very, very wide on the turn. Look how the back end jumps down as they go over the rollers. They're going to have to turn the boat in there. You can see he gets a little bit airborne as he gets the attitude set. But there you see Brian and Wilma. They are coming through. Brian is on the throttle, and Wilma is the steering wheel.
Here's our second place boat. Let's Play Racing with Patrick Dunn and Jeff Cresciano. They made up on the mistake from Team Fisher, moved themselves into second place boat, trying to chase down this boat, Team Snap-on Talking Tools. We'll be back with more Factory 2 and Super V Racing right after this.
Welcome back to Savannah, Georgia. We've got more action on the course. Super V Lights have taken the green flag and are underway.
The Super V Light battle, Vortech Extreme in the lead on the series with 208 points, Screamin' Nuts in second, High Noon Racing in third. Super V Light, single engine V-bottom configurations, all canopied boats up to 33 feet in length, 5,000 pounds minimum weight. All of these boats are allowed to run either the Mercury 525 package or the GM Vortech HP3 8100. All the boats are running the HP3 in this class today, and there's your leader at the start of the race, Screamin' Nuts, being chased down by High Noon Racing, the father and son team of Richie and Richard Ligori.
Bob Mazakowski and Richard Schubert aboard the Screamin' Nuts boat, now being passed up on the outside by High Noon Racing. That's the father and son team, as Martin told you, of Richard and Richie Ligori. They are out of Port Jefferson, New York, and back in third place, a boat out of Newport Richey, Florida. That is the team of Gary DeSoucies, who is the driver, and Steve Nicholas, who owns the boat and is also on the throttle. Moving back now over to the Super V. This is H&H Speed Marine. They have had a good winning run so far. They're being tailed by Donzi. Team Donzi. Whoa!
Oh, big
almost
time.
over.
Boy, he got that boat sideways up on a wave, and it came down and landed it right on its chine. That is the side that Lee Murray's on. He had to have been looking at water. As we look back at the battle for third place, Spiderman coming up alongside Miccosukee Indian Gaming as we go on board with Brett Frischman and Todd Easton.
And listen to the engines. They are up and down again, but on the inside is the Spider-Man boat. Now, they didn't get a great start. They finished further back in the pack. They've been picking them off one by one. And right now, Miccosukee Indian, that is the boat they are aiming at, and they are getting them on the inside.
Spider-Man, that's Todd Welling and Lance Henderson. They run so well together, and that boat is very fast. They are now currently running in third place. Donzi in their sights. Here's the battle right now, back for fourth and fifth. Pier 57 and Team Ettore Squeegees. Right now, there's the view as Ettore Squeegees looking forward on the race course, trying to chase down that third place boat. Beautiful brand new finish on that boat, debuting a brand new paint job here. Oh, that engine hatch looks to me like it's moving a little bit too much there as Ettore Squeegees makes their way on the race course, trying to chase down Team Spider-Man.
There's an example of how rough this water is. The engine is breaking loose. The engine top is coming off. The hatch is almost off. It's going to fly. There it goes. It's off. Oh, my goodness, Martin, they're going to have to warn the other boats that that is on the course because it probably will not sink. No, it didn't. As a matter of fact, it's floating on top, so they're going to alert all the others. They're running with an open hatch. You could see how the engine was moving around. That boat is really taking a beating.
Boy, that would scare me more than anything else. Those engines are moving around quite a bit. That ends up breaking motor mounts and hurting couplers. That boat is going to have a little bit of problems, and there's your first place boat, followed by Team Donzi in second place. That's Lee Murray and
Doug Valentine. They are doing a great job. They are getting more and more together. That's a new team this year. This group, though, boy, Spiderman continues to pick off each position one at a time. Can they get up front? Well, the race is running down. I don't know. That's going to be a big question because this boat is running just beautifully. H&H Speed Marine has taken it off the green flag and held it.
Todd Clenworth and Bob Bull running this 36-foot cigarette beautifully right now. Still getting chased down by Team Donzi, currently running in second place with Todd Welling and Lance Henderson and Team Spiderman running in third.
I was going to say they're going to have to watch out because Spiderman's behind. Meanwhile, we jump over class. We get into Let's Play Racing, the Cirrus Racing team. They are in second place as they're running right now in the Factory 2s.
That's Patrick Dunn and Jeff Cresciano running their Formula Powerboat reconfigured with the 525 Mercury engines. That boat running very well since they made the changes, but here's back to the leader, Team Snap-on Talking Tools. You know, Dick, at the beginning of the race, they were so calm, so collected, just getting ready to go out for a Sunday boat ride. They are having a fantastic run today.
They have a lot of fun at the races. They are in from Ontario, Canada. They are a married couple, Brian and Wilma Ross, and Snap-on Talking Tools is the boat. They ran great the last race, but look at them today, gang.
We'll be back with more Factory 2 racing action after this commercial break.
Welcome back to Savannah, Georgia for the 2003 GMC Pro Grade Series third stop of the year, the Savannah Offshore Grand Prix.
Back to Super V Racing. Here's your leader, H&H Speed Marine, Todd Clenworth and Bob Bull. This boat has led from flag to flag, redialed this boat in. It is running very strong. Second place right now, Team Donzi, but he is getting challenged hard on the outside by Team Spiderman.
And as we said earlier, Martin, Spiderman has been picking it up one by one. Now we go to the Super V Light, and look at the battle we've got going on here. On the inside, it is the Extreme Vortech boat, but on the outside, just now taking over first place again, is High Noon Racing, and look at them fly those hulls.
Look at the huge swell they have to deal with. You got to see it as they went through turn one. They're now heading towards turn two, hitting those huge swells and flying the boat. High Noon on the outside right now. He controls the turn. He could just slam the door on Gary DeSoucies and Steve Miklos. We'll see if he does that as we go back to third place in Screamin' Nuts.
That's Bob Mazakowski and Richard Schubert in the Screamin' Nuts boat, and they've held on to third place. They've been very comfortable back there. That big Vortech engine, you can see they are really putting the power out on that boat, but not enough to catch High Noon Racing. This is Richard and Richie Ligori, father and son team in High Noon, and they are being challenged on the inside by the Extreme Vortech boat, who had the lead, and then the Ligoris caught up to them. But right now, Gary DeSoucies and Steve Miklos are really pouring the coals on, and they've got them on the inside. The Ligoris went on the outside of the wake, and it was the Extreme Vortech on the inside of the wake from another class.
He ended up taking the shorter line around the race course, and it paid off that time as the Vortech Extreme carries more speed than he should have been able to on the inside. The Ligoris had to push a little harder and lost some ground, but they are within a boat length right now on the outside. What a battle in Super V Light.
Now you can see where they had to pass some traffic on the inside also, so they have to be attuned that there are other classes of boats running. But what's amazing is these guys popping out of the water, Martin, and they don't seem to lose any speed at all. They just keep coming back in at full speed.
That's a testament to the throttle, and that is his job. As the boat's coming out of the water, he needs to gently pull out of the throttles, and as the boat's coming back in, he wants to apply power so there's no loss of forward momentum. And these guys are doing a fantastic job of keeping these boats running level in the big seas and carrying all that speed.
And you've got a lot of power on these small boats, and you can see the effect of it as they jump out of the water here and there. Again, we have mixed water, and that's another problem. So they're going to fight it out. And now let's go to the GM Vortech Wake Zone.
For fans, APBA Offshore Racing brings high-speed excitement to the open water. For GM, it also provides a unique testing ground for their powerful Vortech engines. Valuable testing no laboratory can duplicate. After top powerboat racers push their Vortech engines to the limits with constant stress, impact, vibration, and strain, GM engineers then take data collected from these motors to improve on the overall performance of future Vortech engines. Surprisingly, this information isn't used just on their boat engines. It's also applied to their popular line of GMC trucks, vans, and SUVs. In fact, the Vortech engine found in these powerboats is nearly identical to GM's land vehicles, both harnessing the power of swirling air, or a vortex, within their combustion chambers to achieve more horsepower and greater efficiency. With APBA Offshore, GM has established a unique connection between those who race boats and those who tow them.
Back on the course in Savannah, we've got 3 classes of boats running. We'll have the winners in a moment. Welcome back to the beautiful beaches of Tybee Island in Savannah, Georgia. Dick Crippen along with Martin Sanborn. As we go out onto the course, our leader in Super V, none other than H&H Speed and Marine, Todd Clintworth and Bob Bull. Martin, this boat has, if there's a flawless operation in this rough water, they had it.
They've run beautifully all day long, and here comes Team Donzie, currently running in second place. Looks like they're losing a little bit of speed right now, because here comes Team Spiderman on the inside, pushing hard. He's been pushing everybody all day long. These top 3 boats all running away, and here comes Team Spiderman pushing hard on the outside. He's closing the gap on Team Donzie.
Well, Team Spiderman actually started back in the pack and picked them off one by one. I'm sure aboard that Team Donzie boat right now, Douglas Valentine and Lee Murray are not concerned with the lead boat. They're concerned with the boat in third place, because Spiderman has been silently weaving that web. And look at him come up on the outside, and he's trying to catch him. He is shooting by Team Donzie.
Boy, there was nothing silent about that. Team Spiderman just blew by Team Donzie like they were parked. They now have their sights set on the leader, H&H Marine. Do they have enough time to catch him before the last straightaway?
Well, we're coming up on that last straightaway, so they're not going to have an awful lot of time, but they sure are putting the power on. If you want to pour the coals, this is the time to do it. That rooster tail jumping out of the water shows how they're trying to get that boat to accelerate a little bit more and catch the leader, H&H Speed and Marine, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. H&H Speed Marine has been running flawlessly since the start. They took it right off the green flag. You can see the difference in the ride of the 2 boats. H&H Speed and Marine riding rather smoothly across the water, while Spiderman is jumping wildly. Of course, they're trying to get that acceleration in there, but it's also costing them a little bit.
Here comes H&H Speed Marine. Looks like they are going to cross the start-finish line and take first place. Reconfigured, the boat comes out of the box and takes first place. Second place, Team Spiderman. Todd Welling and Lance Henderson doing so well in that boat, just didn't have that extra straightaway they needed to run down H&H Marine.
Oh, a little bit of a wave to the crowd there as they get to look at the bottom of the boat. And there's your winner again, H&H Speed and Marine. This is really the story of the day. The husband and wife team of Brian and Wilma Ross in the F246 Snap-on Talking Tools. They literally have led from start to finish. The boat ran great last week. We thought that was going to really be the indication of some good things to come, and it obviously was.
And here's our second place finisher, Harwich Concrete Block, Pier 57, Lute Dickey and Michael Stancombe. Now back to Super V Light. These guys have a half a lap to go, and the battle is still raging between Vortech Extreme and High Noon Racing.
There you can see the Vortech Extreme. They are in first place, but I'll tell you, right on the outside of them is the High Noon Racing team. You can see the little bit of margin that is in there now as the Liguoris, father and son, try to get the speed on the outside. Now, Steve Miklos and Gary DeSoucies in the Extreme Vortech have really chosen to go in the somewhat smoother water of the wake of another boat.
Well, they're riding right on the inside line also, so they're taking a shorter way around the race course. I don't know what the Liguoris are thinking, if they think they're going to dive in behind. That's certainly an option, but you got a lot of distance to make up when you got a good 50 yards between the 2 boats. There, they did move to the inside. They picked up just a little bit of ground, but probably not as much if they'd have been running a little bit closer. That slingshot allowed them to close within 4 or 5 boat lengths. They are pulling on strong. Look at them go.
What a battle with High Noon on the inside. The Liguoris pushing hard. Extreme Vortech bouncing on the outside. It looks like it's almost choreographed with those 2 boats. Extreme Vortech finds just a little bit more power. He's trying to pour it on now. The Liguoris again trying to push those sticks through the dashboard, see if they can get anything more out of that boat. Extreme Vortech with Gary DeSoucies and Steve Miklos pushing that boat for all that it's worth, holding it onto the water, and that is the key. They are hardly bouncing out of the water at all. They're coming up on the start-finish line, and there we go, right by the big boat that says they have won. The checkered flag was out for Extreme Vortech, and that's congratulations to the team from Newport Richey, Florida, and congratulations to second place from Port Jefferson, New York. And in the Super V's, the winner was H&H Speed and Marine, Spiderman taking second, Team Donzi third. Let's go down to the pits and Martin Sanborn.
H&H Marine, you guys came from really having to dial the boat in a marathon and just absolutely smoked today. What was the difference?
Martin Marine, Trace Martin and Mercury Motors. We changed power, and the Mercury Motors did great, and Trace Martin did a wonderful job rigging the boat and getting it set up for the race. Yeah, that actually puts us up there in the points the way I think the finish worked out. So we may stand a chance for the Nationals.
Well, congratulations. Great finish, H&H Marine, as they make their way to first place here in Savannah.
It was great. We want to thank our competitors. Everybody ran clean. Bunch of great teams out there, and we've got a great class. Thank you, APBA, for putting on such an event.
Now to Factory 2, and what a story to be told there. The husband and wife team with their first win ever in Snap-on Talking Tools. They have got to be happy.
We can do that.
There you go. You don't see that very often, the throttleman and driver kissing. That's not a normal thing. First place, you got to feel great.
Awesome. Just spectacular. Our water out there was just great, and thanks to Jim Herring for those great props.
Yeah, we've never had a boat hooked up like that. Unbelievable.
And to Donzi and all our other sponsors, this is just an awesome day for us.
We pulled out of the pack, we just accelerated out, and it never slowed down. Oh, yeah, good deal.
To Super V Light, and what a battle we had there with Vortech Extreme, barely taking the win at the finish over High Noon Racing. Third place went to the Screamin' Nuts Racing Team.
Doc Ligoria, the activator, pushed us all the way. We were just running on the rev limiter the whole time, just beating the motor to death, and I'm sure he was doing the same thing. And Mark from Extreme Power Boats really built the right boat, because we won by about 3 seconds. We gave up the lead. We probably changed the lead 15 or 20 times during the race. It was tough.
We made a mistake on the propeller. We went a little big, but it still did good. The motor works real well there. And I made a mistake. I made a wrong turn, and Doc got it right there on us, and he was right there and took the lead against from us. And the motors we just went there. I mean, the Vortech was there for us. I mean, we missed on the prop, but the motor made up for our mistake.
As far as the race, it was an absolute dogfight with Steve and Gary in the Extreme boat. And we were going neck and neck, back and forth. They went off course a little bit. I tried to cut them off at turn 1, and that wasn't happening. And, they had a little bit of speed on us, but we were going back and forth. The last turn, I don't know what it was, turn 5, right before the stretch on the beach, I tried to cut it way inside of him. I cut him right in back and tried to just backdoor him. I couldn't do it, but it's finally, I got top 2, so I'm happy about that one.
Well, there you go. Now, rough water race, we probably have no hope of ever getting you in an open cockpit boat that you're not strapped into.
There was absolutely no way. I was just telling one of the guys in Factory 2 that I was grabbing onto my oxygen tank just in case. I mean, the boats were all over the place. I looked over and I saw Steve and Gary. I could tell you exactly what the bottom and the exact layout of the bottom of their boat and what it looks like, because they were totally sideways and so were we. I mean, the General Motors guys, again, I mean, I said it one time, but I said it before, hats off to you guys, because there's no way I would have even finished the race without having them there.
Our special thanks to the beautiful Westin Savannah Resort and Spa, the host hotel for the APBA Offshore Fire on the Water Race Weekend. Our thanks to Towboat US of Savannah and St. Catharines for providing all the towing service for the APBA Offshore Powerboats.